Hello everybody, I'm Hoarder Gamer, and this is Hoarder's Comic Flex. Happy to see you all. We're going to talk about comics. We're going to talk about Gotham Knights. We're going to talk quite a bit about Gotham Knights, a bit of a Gotham Knights discussion. Going to go through a lot of what was at IGN first, and then we're going to talk about things that were first at other places than IGN. Hey Kiki, how you doing? We're going to peer into the future of comics all the way to 1 week from today. And we'll also toy around a bit. So, I tried this last week or the week before. Instead of reviewing 2 books like I usually do, I reviewed only 1, but it was a big one. And I did the same thing this week, and it was a big one. You're alive, hope you're well. I am well, Kiki, and I'm happy you're alive. So, this is Amazing Fantasy 1000. Okay, let me tell you the big deal here about this book. Basically, Amazing Spider-Man started as Amazing Fantasy, and I want to say it was issue 14, I believe, is where Spider-Man debuts. It's 14 or 15, I think it's 14. And then it became, at some point close to that, considered like part of Amazing Spider-Man. And technically, Amazing Fantasy 1000 is like the equivalent of Amazing Spider-Man 1000. So it's actually a big kind of like anniversary book, and Amazing Fantasy was kind of like an anthology of different things going on. So like that, it wasn't always just Spider-Man, because he showed up, like I said, in issue like 14 or 15. So this is a great collection, a who's who of artists and writers doing different Spider-Man stories. And there are, let's see, 3, 6, there's 8 stories in here. And there's some that I thought were absolutely phenomenal. There's one about a low-level crook, just like a hood, you'd say. And basically, it's over the course of years, and all the times he's met Spider-Man, and Spider-Man has stopped him. And it's basically like he talks about, like, yeah, the Avengers are off planet fighting this threat, or something like that. And so I get to go on that time and commit the crime. But there's one person who always stops me. And, of course, it's Spider-Man. And you find out that he's like, why? Why are you picking on me when there's all these other supervillains and everything? Why am I such a concern? And it's the idea that the crimes this man commits, while somewhat small, affect other lives. And with the loss of Uncle Ben, that weighs heavily on Peter. So it was a really well done, like 8 to 10 page story, and I really liked that a lot. That started things out, and that was by Anthony Falcone and Michael Cho, and the art was done by Michael Cho. Sinister 60th is really cool. Just a regular purse snatching. And the dude shoots Spider-Man, and he freaks out after doing it. He's like, oh my god, no one's ever shot Spider-Man, because, the spider sense. This is a 60-year-old Spider-Man. And he is between life and death in a hospital bed, and all these people come to wish him well. And, of course, Mary Jane is there. And it just shows the amazing relationship Mary Jane and Peter have had over the years. And it's really well done. I really like that one. I don't want to spoil it completely for everybody. But yeah, that was really good. Dan Slott wrote that. And Dan Slott also did Fantastic Four recently. I think he's bringing his run to an end. And yeah, it was really good. I liked it a lot. Jim Choong is the penciler and inker. Then we have a fun story, which makes fun of fake news. From the creator of Veep, Armando Iannucci. He has created a new villain called Conspiraton. And it's basically a trust fund kid in a mechanical outfit that is able to alter people's perception of the news, specifically the Daily Bugle. It is hilarious. It makes fun of Newsmax, Fox News in a very clever way without being totally pointed. And it's really fun and it's entertaining. Again, it's like 8 to 10 pages. Each story is, short because there's only so much time in the book, or so much time they have to tell the story in the book because of how many pages. I feel, though, for $7.99 it was definitely worth it. I think it's like 80 or 90 pages, and for $7.99, I'll give you an idea. Average comic book is 20 pages. $4 to $5 for a 20-page book. Now, that's from a big company. That's not like from a small person like me, per se, that would have a book and might have to charge $6. And I can explain why that is, too. There's a certain amount that each store needs to get, like a consignment charge. And usually it's around half. That's not a secret. That's usually about what it is. It's about half. Because they're taking a gamble on taking your book in. So after Conspiraton, then our next story is The Kid's Got a Good Eye, which basically Peter's trying to get some money to go on a date. It's a younger Peter. And he gets some pics, and he's like, oh, these are excellent. It's a nice day in New York, but it's extremely, extremely hot, so there's no crime, and people are just having fun. I'm going to take pics of that, and I'm going to go to J. Jonah Jameson and see if I can get some money. The only picture Jonah likes is one of Peter covered in ice cream as he attempts to eat an ice cream cone, but has his mask on. And doesn't realize it until it's too late. But Pete doesn't get to go on the date then, and has the money to do that. So, and Robbie Robertson, his I guess you'd say supervisor, because I guess Jay Jonah's his boss. He was like, "Oh, this kid's got a good eye," looking at the pictures that were all brought in. So, it's a short one, but it's a sweet one. And I believe that was Rainbow Rowell, who's currently writing She-Hulk. And She-Hulk has been really good. She-Hulk is one of the best books out. I think I might bring it up later on tonight. Okay. So after that story, then, another really good one. I'm not going to go through all 8 of them, but there were certain ones that were just excellent. You Get It is awesome. You Get It is basically the idea that Peter's like, why is my life so difficult and everything? What's going on? So he reaches out, like across, I believe, time and space, and talks to all these other Spider-Men, different Spider-Men from like different realities. And they're like, no, my life's perfect. I have like this dream life. I'm successful. I've got a Nobel Prize And Peter's like, what? What are you talking about? Oh, we're just kidding, Peter. We're all like you. So it was fun. It was cute. It was entertaining. One of the most interesting stories, though, is Neil Gaiman puts himself into Spider-Man. Starts out with a 6-year-old Neil Gaiman in Sussex. I believe that's near London. I'm not exactly sure. In Sussex, meeting Spider-Man and like having this like little toy gun that broke and telling Spider-Man about it, and then meeting him years later when he gets comic books signed by Steve Ditko. So there's elements of this that are real life, like him going with a friend and getting books signed by Steve Ditko, but Spider-Man happens to be there, like 25 years later, in the office too. It was really neat. I really enjoyed that one. That was one of my favorites in the book. There's one that's going to be a big thing for fans of the original Amazing Fantasy series, and that's called The Slaves of the Witch Queen, because it's technically a quasi-sequel to an existing issue. It's been a long time since I've read any of that, so I did not recall, but it was entertaining and fun and written by Kurt Busiek, who's a really good writer. Let's see. But yeah, I definitely recommend it. If you're a Spider-Man fan, it's something you should definitely get. A lot of times these books come out and you'll get like quite a few, like, we'll say, I want to be nice about this, we'll say duds. There are no duds here. You know, when you have an anthology like this with different artists and different writers, there's a possibility that certain things just won't work out that well, and you'll be disappointed and you'll be like, $8 for this? But that's not the vibe I got from this. I really liked Amazing Fantasy 1000. There's 4 or 5 different covers. I really like this cover, but Peach Momoko also has a awesome cover. She has this amazing watercolor style to her art. Hey Mike, how you doing? You like milk duds? Different kind of duds. How you doing, Mike? But yeah, Amazing Fantasy 1000 is really good. It took me about 45 minutes to read. Maybe a little less than an hour, I know it was. Because again, it's like 80-some, 90 pages. It's great. It's really good. Now, keep in mind, it doesn't further the current Amazing Spider-Man storyline. So keep that in mind. Some of these books will. Some of these books that are like anthologies will have a story that is, you know, that same writer and artist team, and they're furthering that story. That does not happen here. This is more like this really cool remembrance of Amazing Fantasy, where Spider-Man came from, and, you know, with great power comes great responsibility. All the big tenets of Spider-Man are covered in this really well. But that is our review for today. Now, everybody, it's time for discussion. It's time for what I'm hoping will be the largest part of this episode. It is time for Gotham Knights. Gotham Knights discussion. We start off with what we saw today. Just over 10 minutes of gameplay footage talking about the way and the structure of the game and how it works. And we found out that there's going to be a day-night cycle considered the Belfry Loop. And basically, in the Belfry is where you spend days and you use clues you found in preparation for the next night's crimes. And each night, it's different crimes. Every Arkham game has been the idea of one terrible night in Batman's life. This is consecutive evenings. We don't know how many or anything like that, but it's a number of evenings. And at night, you fight the crimes. And during the day, you're in the Belfry communicating with other members of the Knights. You're like looking at your clues, getting things together. It sounds awesome. It sounds really, really cool. We know that there's at least 3 gangs or factions in the game. They're the Freaks, and at one point Harley runs with the Freaks, possibly leads them. There's the Regulators, which are tech-based villains, and they're going to be working with Mr. Freeze, but again, it sounds like they work with him because they're going to benefit. Not because they're just like blindly following him like the goons did in like, you know, Batman 66, where it was just like every, you know, villain had goons that would just be loyal, basically. Mammoth was here. He can't wait to play. Oh, it's going to be an awesome game. I can't wait to play either. Let's see here. If you fail a crime, it goes unsolved and or unpunished, depending on the crime. And that's your learning lesson. Now, main villain missions and main story arc missions are different, but like just nightly crimes. So it's kind of like with the Spider-Man game. Amazing Spider-Man, if you fail a crime, basically, you know, you die or whatever happens, the crime's over, and, you know, you go on to another crime or you go to another story beat. Yes, Freaks and Geeks. Yeah, I guess you could say that. Between the Freaks and the Regulators? Sure. Another group we have is the Mob. The Mafia, organized crime in Gotham. So it was mentioned that with Red Hood, that's a big thing for him, is going against the Mob. We also know that the police are corrupt. Watching all the footage again, my thought is that the police are the ones that actually end up killing Kirk Langstrom. Also, Tin Hat time, it's possible that they would actually need his know-how, not just his technology. So maybe that wasn't his actual body. Maybe they beat the hell out of him and then they take Kirk somewhere. Crazier things have happened. And what is the deal with the giant spider crab things in those containers? They're these fluid-filled giant containers, aquariums, with these huge spider crab things. And I'm like, what in the hell are those? So I'm hoping to find out. One of the aquariums have it look like a small shark. So I don't know. All I know about Kirk in the comics and like Arkham Knight and even like the animated series, bats. That's really, he's kind of one-track mind when it comes to things. Bats. He ends up becoming Man-Bat. And my thought is, too, that they might have bat ninjas because that's part of the Grant Morrison story arc. And I could see the League of Shadows, which has been rumored, as well as, you know, out and out hinted at through the promotion, like, what, 2 years ago now? So let's say we have the Freaks, the Mob, Regulators, the Court of Owls, of course, the League of Shadows, and the Police. That's quite a few factions already. Now, I'm certain that other villains will have, you know, their people. We've seen someone with the Anarchy A on their outfit, and maybe that's a member of the Freaks wearing an old outfit when they were part of that group. I don't know. Plus, there are people running around with pig masks. So maybe they do work for Professor Pig. It's hard to say. It's exciting, though. You know? We got all these mysteries ahead. One thing that's real big to look at is 5 families. And I think, yes, the other night on stream when I was on Twitch, I screwed up and forgot one of the families. It's the Waynes, the Elliots, the Arkhams, the Cobblepots, and the Canes. I believe I forgot the Arkhams. Somehow I forgot the Arkhams. But the Waynes are New Gotham. The Elliots are downtown. The Arkham family is North Gotham. Cobblepots are the south side of Gotham. And the Canes control the harbor. So this is important because the Court of Owls is based on the founding of the of Gotham, basically, by these 5 families. So I believe that Tommy Elliot is going to be very important, also known as Hush. We already know that Freeze has a boss fight in Elliot Center, a frozen version of Elliot Center. We find out that Gotham can transform during things called Villain Nights. This we found out today. Such as with Villain Night, Elliot Center is all frozen over and everything when you go to fight Mr. Freeze. So, and then other crimes are not available. Because, like, there's something screwed up with Gotham, and that's the big focus, taking on that villain that night. So that's really cool. They mentioned, too, that Gotham City Hospital is going to be overrun by Harley, and she's going to have that all screwed up and different looking than it does during the rest of the game. So I like that a lot. It still brings to mind, though, are we able to replay missions? Do we know yet if we can replay missions? Because I don't know. With the way the structure of the game works, I'm not quite certain. Will this game put... I don't like to speak of things like that. I think it's a very different experience, Mike. Why will it take some manpower away from Marvel's Avengers? Yes. Comic book fans will definitely want to play this game, and a lot of comic book fans have played Marvel's Avengers, or play Marvel's Avengers. So, you know, just by virtue of the game being new, people will be excited about it. Now that it's about the Bat family and Batman Rogue's gallery of villains, people will be even more excited. Also, it's got co-op. So that's going to be a big thing too. But no, I do not think it's going to be the nail in the coffin of Marvel's Avengers. I do not think so. Because I think it's a different experience. Marvel's Avengers is a game as a service that continues. Now, in a little bit, we'll go into something about Gotham Knights that seems a little like that, but not to the extent that Marvel's Avengers is. The devs built down. They built the city up, giant skyscrapers everywhere, just really, rich looking. But they also built it down, labyrinthian. Tons of secrets. A filled with secrets Gotham. Now we know about skill trees. 3 main skill trees. But then there's a 4th you unlock called knighthood. There's technically a 5th, momentum abilities. So that's amazing. I look forward to building. Right now, I kind of want to do a hybrid Red Hood. I want to focus on his ranged, so using his guns. But I do want to have some of those really cool wrestling moves. So most of what I'm going to do is going to be like probably marksman, because that's based on gun, and then brawler, like maybe a few things in brawler. May make some people away, yes. Yeah, I think they will come back. I definitely think they will come back. That's a good point, Kiki. I think they will return. We know there are color styles and there are mod chips to collect. So basically you can mod your gear with data chips, not potato chips, not Doritos. And then color styles to alter like the look and the coloring of the different outfits. Okay, so now mentioning the skill trees, there's different focuses. Okay, Batgirl is great for one-on-one and hacking, also survivability. So if you're having difficulty getting through areas or defeating enemies, it seems that Batgirl might be able to have more armor possibly. Nightwing, co-op buffs and acrobatics, but apparently the co-op buffs are really meaningful. So that's phenomenal. I'm looking forward to that. Then we have Robin, stealth, decoys, and elemental effects. He can like buff elemental effects on weapons and stuff. So that's going to be good. And then, like I mentioned, marksman, brawler, and then there's a 3rd for Red Hood. But yeah, it gives you an idea of what your focus is depending on what character you want to play as, how much you like that character, and how much you like the way they play. Now, this is another thing I enjoyed hearing about today. Information scarcity. Basically, you need to put on your detective hat, okay? Or your detective cowl. You need to get clues. You need to piece things together or you won't be able to solve crimes. And like, you could be fighting someone and then you have like an enforcer that you take care of. I mean, it's going to be really neat. I'm looking forward to this a lot. But yeah, I like the idea that you really have to do detective work. You can't just, expect the game to spoon feed you. Let's see here. What other points did I want to make? Untethered co-op. This is awesome, everybody. So basically, if you're in my Gotham, you could just do whatever you want to do. Find collectibles, fight crime. I don't even have to be with you. Or I could see where you are in the map and join you. And we could fight crime together. Now, the difference is big story beat missions are considered like in dungeons. And it sounded like you can't like be outside the dungeon doing stuff if I'm in the dungeon fighting. I do believe, though, we could do co-op in the dungeon together. I believe that's, what we're able to do. But you can't just have someone, like, doing a big story beat, and then things are happening in the outside world, and which I get. I understand that. I wonder if there's going to be, like, a warning, or if it's, like, can't visit Gotham because so-and-so a message comes up. I wonder how that works. Now, this is another great thing. Progression. Characters and villains scale. So let's say Xbox Live Mike and I, we play Gotham Knights. I'm level 10, he's level 5. Okay? Well, it's going to somewhat scale to us, so it won't be terribly difficult. It'll be a challenge, but not just brutally. And then, character and hero progression. So, both Xbox Live Mike and I, we get the progression on our characters as well as any progress we made in the story. Now, the way that works is the host definitely gets all of that right away in the host's game. The non-host person that's playing, when they play that mission, they'll have the option. Do you want to play the mission, or do you just want to go past it and move on? Which I think is great. I like that a lot. That's a really cool way to do it. I was kind of wondering about that myself. How does that work? I am still wondering, though, how it works to have replay missions. You know, let's say there's a mission that's so awesome and so much fun you want to replay it. And with this game, it's about going and getting crafting materials and better gear, crafting gear as to like upgrade, and then just finding better gear too. So I'm interested to see how that's going to work. I feel there has to be some way to have, replaying of missions, right? What does anyone else think? Does anyone else have any questions on Gotham Knights? Anything you're excited for? Other villains I would love to see, Ventriloquist and Mr. Scarface. I would love to see them. That would be awesome. Two-Face seems to be in the game, even though he has not been mentioned. In very early promos, there was like this coded message thing, and one of the things said two-faced. And I can't think they would use that word if he's not in the game. Now, this is awesome and exciting. This is huge news for the game. Gotham Knights Endgame. Only hinted at, no details. But the person at IGN made it seem like it was a big deal, and it's something they just would not talk about yet. But it sounded like it was a situation where they might have been really like smirking as they were, we can't talk about this. It's great. Yeah, it made it seem like they were enthusiastic about Endgame, but they would not say what that is. So we don't know if it's going to be a like a new game plus, if they're going to add villains to Gotham. The person at IGN seemed to think that that's a possibility, that they could add villains to Gotham. He even thought with the way it works with co-op, maybe they could almost have something like a raid. I don't know. So I'm interested to see that. I would be happy if the DLC wasn't like big and massive, like a few hours. If it was like, here's a 10-minute crime here, here's a 20-minute crime there, and then like have like an affordable season pass, or let everybody just go piecemeal if they wanted to. That's what Arkham Knight did. That was one of my favorite passes ever for a video game, because it didn't force you into buying everything. You could buy what you wanted. Like if you just wanted the Season of Infamy story missions, $9.99. I believe the original pass price was $40. So if all you wanted were those story missions with more villains, that would just been $10, not $40. If you wanted the racetracks, if you wanted all the skins and everything, $40. Don't plan to play it, but I'm looking forward to the playthroughs. Mammoth replaying the story on Friday, Saturday. It's your first time seeing them. Awesome. Replaying Asylum, or what game? Or City, or... yeah, I'm very interested to see what the end game is. How awesome would that be if like there were constant crimes going on, like new crimes? Like a month later, they're like, "Oh, there's something so and so. Go to this place and check around." And there's like a clue, and you go and try solving another crime. That'd be amazing. See, the only issue is with that, I don't know how that would work economically, because how do they fund extra content, right? Do they have any way to make money outside the game, or in the game? I mean. Obviously, they can sell T-shirts and toys and stuff like that, but like what I'm trying to say is, what funds extra content? Just amazing sales of the game? I guess that could be it. Like if they had internal numbers and they're like, we hit this internal number that the public doesn't know, then we can go further and add more crimes. I don't know, but they made it seem like this would be ongoing. Okay, like this isn't just the end. But also, it doesn't sound like a game as a service. It doesn't sound like that either. You saw Endgame in theaters? I did too. Arkham Asylum first is Arkham City. Awesome. Those are both great games. Arkham City is actually my favorite of the Arkham series. I absolutely love that game. Also, I would say that Arkham City has the best boss battles. Yeah, Clayface, Freeze, and Ra's al Ghul, those are awesome battles, I thought. Solomon Grundy, too. Solomon Grundy. That's one issue I had with Arkham Knight, and it wasn't like a deal breaker in it by any means, but there weren't like boss battles, They were just like conversations and then like cinemas. There's like one or two boss battles throughout the entire game, and one's against a vehicle. Yeah, City is phenomenal. I beat it numerous times. I've gotten all enough riddles to, have the final confrontation with Riddler. Yeah, I really like it a lot. Does anyone else have anything to say about Gotham Knights? Again, coming out October 21st. We might get a steelbook here in the US. It's available in the UK. I don't know if it's coming here yet. If it does come here, really good chance it would be Best Buy, because Best Buy does a lot of steelbook exclusives on video games and movies. It's nice looking, too. Also, someone showed a picture of what I believe is the Steel LED book. It's not literally called a steelbook. They can't call it that because that's copyrighted, but it's like a steelbook, and it's got LED lights in it, and that comes with the collector's edition. So, like, their actual symbols light up. So, that was pretty neat looking. And there's a statue, of course, and DLC and stuff. But, like, I was like, okay, that's ridiculous, having LEDs in what seems almost like a steel book. I would like to see, like, someone like Punchline show up. That would be really cool. Like, a much more recent villains would be neat. I mean, it's great that we're getting the Court, don't get me wrong. I waited years to see the Court in a game. I think there's a brief kind of sort of mention of them in Arkham Origins. But, like, they don't show up or anything. You don't see any Talons around or anything. Okay, well, I'm incredibly excited for Gotham Knights. You can't see the arrow, but right here next to the Funko Pops, we have Batgirl, and I believe it's Red Hood, but it's the all-gray Red. Oh, no, that's Nightwing. It's Nightwing and Batgirl from Gotham Knights. They actually released 4 Gotham Knights action figures in, like, February. So I think at one point, maybe they thought the game would come out a little bit sooner. I don't know. I'm hoping to get a Gotham Knights Penguin, though, and hopefully a Harley. I'm sure they'll do another series. I can't think that these weren't popular. But now, everybody, we are done talking about Gotham Knights. Now we're going to toy around. We're going to toy around a little bit. Remember Thor: Love and Thunder? Here's the comic book version of Gore the God Butcher. With all black, the Necro Sword. And another head, so you can have him like with the cloak. But yeah, that's how he looks in the comic book. So that's why some people were upset about the Christian Bale look. I thought it was fine for the movie. I thought it definitely resembled him. But yeah, that's the Gore figure. I believe it's an Amazon exclusive. It's from Marvel Legends. And again, they showed like 6 different pictures of it. I can't easily like have all those pictures that I'm moving around. So this was the one that kind of showed everything it came with. They do. People will find something to complain about on just about everything. Like, even with Avengers, when there's some really great news, not everyone could be happy about it. There has to be something that someone's very upset about. Something that ruins the game instantly somehow. But no, I really like this Gore. I think it's cool. I think it comes out January. And yes, I believe it is an exclusive to Amazon, which I was surprised. I thought Pulse would have it, which is the Hasbro website. But, yeah. Okay, Mike said he loves to complain. It makes him feel in charge of his life for once. I added life because I know Mike. So I... Do you mean in control? In control of your life for once? Yeah, I think it's a great figure, though. I liked it a lot. I wanted to show it to everybody. And he goes away right there. Next up, we have the opening of Batman the Animated Series in toy form. And it lights up. The lightning bolt lights up. So, the beginning of Batman the Animated Series is this awesome looking, it looks almost like basically Fleischer Brother animation. And yeah, here you can actually recreate the opening. I like this a lot. Target, I believe, has the exclusive. There's also a version that's signed, which sold out, I think, everywhere. The signed was $80, and then the non-signed version was, I believe, $49.99. But he's got that big Art Deco base, which I love, and the Batman figure there. And I believe you also get a grapple. I think you get 2 pairs of hands. Not sure if you get another head. I don't know about that, but... Damn, Target exclusives. Yeah, I believe it's still on the website, though, if you're interested. There's certain things that took people by surprise they weren't expecting. And I know that this version has been more popular among people, even though the other one's signed, because they're just like another $30 to have it signed. It's a bit much. But yeah, I like this. Some people said the legs look a little bit thin. I agree, but I think it works for what they're trying to get across. And depending on the time period that they really wanted to base that Batman on, hard to say exactly. But I like it. I think it's good. I was impressed. Everybody, that's pretty much the end of toying around. Now, there are a couple other things. There were some Star Wars figures that were shown. Some characters that had never had figures and in the Black Series, the 6-inch Star Wars figures from Empire Strikes Back. And those were neat, you know. But like I kind of have to like pick and choose what we're gonna show. The Flash got specific McFarlane figures for the Page Puncher series, and I thought they were okay, but I wasn't like that enthusiastic. So I don't have pictures of those. But yeah, I mean, I definitely do like research for the show, and I try to find some really cool things. I can say that one thing that's happening, like to anyone that's watching that collects, things are coming out much sooner than we're expecting. I believe March was supposed to be the Moon Knight figures, and some of the big collectors are saying expect them in a month or two. And the Moon Knight run is She-Hulk, Mr. Knight, Moon Knight, and all the characters, I believe, from the Ultron line of the What If series. So that's surprising. Because, like, when they were ordered, it said March of 2023. But apparently, they're expected in a month or two. Same thing with Transformers. There's a Transformer coming out. It was supposed to come out in December. He's at Target in California already. So when you order this stuff, you just don't know. I like to order from Entertainment Earth because there's no harm, no foul on canceling. And they also will give you a notice as to when things are about to ship, which is really cool. So I do like Entertainment Earth quite a bit. I believe currently J Shock Blast, I believe, is sponsored by them. I don't know if it's Shock Blast or J Shock, but he has a code. If you check out his Twitter, you can find out that code, and I think you get a discount or something. I'm not exactly sure how it works. But yeah, I like them a lot. And they're really good at ordering a lot of something. So Amazon sells out, Big Bad Toy Store sells out, good chance Entertainment Earth might still have it. So, I like them. Let's see, what else? Well, for toys, not much else. Nothing else this week. Which means we're going to look into the future of comic books, everybody. We're going to look into the future. And there's no second comic book review because we had that real big comic, Amazing Fantasy 1000. So I'm priming the pump right now. Right now, I am priming the invisible pump for suggestions, for questions, things you want me to review, things you want me to talk about. And now we're going to look at comic books in the future all the way to 1 week from today. Okay, everybody. So, first off, slightly disappointing. DC Comics website is not up to date, so it didn't list the books for next week. Usually, the week before, that stuff's up. Like, you can go the current week and then go to next week. But like 2 weeks now, not in a row, maybe like 2-3 weeks ago, there was an issue on DC's website, another issue on DC's website, no listing of the new books. So, and then to make things worse, there are solicits available of DC comic books on different websites, including Games Radar had them. Unfortunately, they're in alphabetical order, not listed by date. So, yeah. And I believe it's Lunar Distribution is now doing DC Comics to comic book shops. I believe you have to sign in to access the books. It's wild because the DC Comics are no longer even listed on previews. So I apologize. I do believe the next issue of Batman comes out next week. And that run's been awesome. A villain called Failsafe, which has been really freaking terrifying. Really well done. Also, it's Chip Zdarsky's run, and Chip is really knocking out of the ballpark. But so there's that for DC, and then But hey, Image Comics, they're on previews. We can talk about them. Starhenge is this awesome hard science fiction. What I mean by hard science fiction is I'm talking about something like Robert Heinlein, something like Dune, like Frank Herbert's Dune, something that, I adore Star Wars and Star Trek. Those, I feel, have almost a bit more appeal to them. It's hard to explain it exactly. But this is like hard science fiction mixed with modern sensibilities because of one of the characters. So you have what's basically the Terminator meets the Knights of the Round Table. And it's crazy. It's crazy. Even more so than Knights of the Round Table, I would say more so like Green Knight. So like Terminator meets the Green Knight. And Liam Sharp writes and illustrates the book. That's his art on the cover. It is gorgeous. I believe he had to have been working on this for like a year or two in advance. I mean, that's a lot of an undertaking to write and do the art of your own book. Especially when it's like, even it looks like it's, I can't tell if it's painted. I think it's drawn, but it's just beautiful art. And the book is well written. It's really good. I like Starhenge a lot. I highly recommend it. I've already told like 2 or 3 friends about it. But yeah, Starhenge, issue 3. And Starhenge will go away for now. For now. Starhenge might come back next week. You never know. It could happen. Starhenge could show up again next week. Alien. By Philip Kennedy Johnson. And no, that's not 3 former presidents. It's actually the writer's name. Anyway, Alien 1, number 1, is exciting to me because Predator number 1 was exciting. I believe it's Ed Brisson is doing the new Predator book, and I really liked issue 1. And now we have a new Alien series coming out, and I think this will be really good too. So, I'm excited for it. I'll definitely keep an eye on it. Possible review? Not 100% sure. Possibly more of a Starhenge review? I don't know. Then we have Marvel, almost like honorable mention, because these are just regular monthly books, but they're great. 2 of the best Marvel books do have new issues next week. Moon Knight, currently by Jed MacKay. And Jed's run has been excellent, by the way. New issue of Moon Knight, I want to say it's 15. Don't hate me if I'm wrong about that number. I believe it's 15. And I believe it's issue 6 of She-Hulk. Both of those books are 2 of the best comic books currently and 2 of the best Marvel books. Rainbow Rowell's run on She-Hulk has been phenomenal. And I've been really enjoying it a lot. Is Marvel doing this exclusively since the parent company bought Fox? The Dark Horse stuff was good. I don't know what you mean. Oh, Alien. Yes. As far as I know, that's the reason. But the first issue of Predator was really cool. Like, there was a time when, like, licensed stuff would come out and it would be hit or miss. Certain people, no matter how good they are as writers or artists, just don't get the vibe of the source material. But Predator 1 was really good. And Alien could be great as well. So it's something to be excited about, I think. Like, there's no early reviews. I can't be 100% certain. But based on Predator being good, there's a good chance this will be as well. But yeah, She-Hulk's actually one of my favorite current books. So is Moon Knight. So there we technically had 4 books to talk about for next week, not just 2. You should have seen the look on my face, right? I was working this afternoon on this episode actually, and I think it was 3:00 in the afternoon, 3:30. I go online and I go to DCComics.com, and it pulls up this week's books. I'm like, cool, and I choose next week, solid black screen. Like, not like the page crashed or anything. The part of the page that would populate with the new books, just solidly nothing. I'm like, well, this isn't good. So then I go and type DC Comics solicits for September 6th, 2022. Then, like I said, this listing comes out showing all the covers and synopses out of order. Alphabetical order, not by date. Now, luckily, that's not a weekly thing with DC. It was like 2 or 3 weeks ago I had a similar issue with DC, but it's not every week. Like, this is only like the second time I've seen it, but it's probably just a bad link or something that they can fix. But, like, enough people need to bring it to their attention, right? Okay, everybody. I primed the pump. The pump should be thoroughly primed now. Does anyone have any suggestions on books you want me to review? Anything you want me to talk about? TV shows or anything like that? I covered a bit of She-Hulk last week, and I usually don't do it that soon, but I did. So, like, there wasn't really anything to talk about with TV. Again, what we do in the shadows it has been amazing this season. I have not seen the new episode yet, though, so I couldn't say anything about the new episode. But yeah, I'm incredibly enthusiastic for Gotham Knights. Trying to think if there's any other really huge game news recently. I know there's always a ton of game news, but like specific to something for this show. Midnight Suns has been having little videos here and there. You're waiting for She-Hulk to finish? I watch it as it airs because I want to make sure it gets a second season. Like, I'm worried that won't get a second season. Or that they'll rethink their plans for bringing her into the MCU movies. That scene with Bruce and the Sakaar ship could lead into another Hulk movie. An amazing Hulk movie. A incredible Hulk movie. Not quite an immortal Hulk movie, but well, see, Kiki, then you just watch it in private. See, I just avoid the drama, you know? Or I try to. It's not... I can't 100% avoid it. Watch it because you want to watch it, you know? Like, I've been watching, off stream, I've been watching Walking Dead. I'm watching season 10 right now, the Whispers season. Well, they're in more than one season, but that's a big Whisperer season. Like, they're in most of the episodes. And What else am I watching currently? Sandman. I need to finish Sandman. Prefer to binge things? Yeah, that's what I have been doing with Walking Dead. And I will say that the pacing of that has always been difficult on TV because Walking Dead is kind of like a victim of its own success. They can just deliver any length episode and be like, this is this week's episode. Like, if you're a darling on AMC, you don't have to have a 45-minute episode, 50-minute episode. Your episode could be 70 minutes. Your episode could be 80 minutes. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can... And, you know, with ads and everything, that feels incredibly long when you watch it live. But yeah, I would say Walking Dead is an excellent show to watch when you're binging. Everybody, I do not see any suggestions. So I think I will start bringing this episode to an end. First off, I do want to say the Doom Squad Gaming Block Party, which is going to be on Friday. Someone's going to be hosting that. Let me see who that is. 1 second here. Let me see. Oh, it's this guy. It's this guy. Yes, so I'll be hosting the Doom Squad Gaming Block Party on Friday, starting at 6 p.m. Central, and we'll be having some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cowabunga Collection. If enough people want to play it, we could have some Shredder's Revenge. It all depends what people own and what they want to play. Well, of those two games, I'm not opening it to every game. And then also, I will begin The Last of Us Part 1. There's a insane remake of The Last of Us that comes out on Friday. And the original Last of Us is one of my favorite songs of all time. I saw you say song, and Xbox like, Mike, it's one of my favorite games of all time. Okay, so, if you want a song, what I can do is, I did write a song, emotional, powerful theme song for Last of Us 2. They decided not to go with it, which is fine. That's totally cool. But this is how it went. So I performed it a couple times, but The Last of Us 2, everybody. The Last of Us 2, for me and for you. La 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 la, it's The Last of Us 2. The Last of Us 2, for me and for you. La 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 la, it's The Last of Us 2. Now, for some reason, they decided not to go with that. I don't know why. I mean, I thought it was really good. You know, but it's not what they were looking for. You know, probably didn't have enough guitar. You know. So. Well, see, that's the issue they had. They said it seemed like a 90s sitcom. And that they said that that's not what they were going for. They said I might have something terribly wrong with me. That my brain might be broken. They were like, no sane person would have come up with a song like that for The Last of Us 2. You know. Just regular criticism, you know. But yeah, everybody, 6 p.m. Doom Squad block party. It's going to be on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Hoarder Gamer. So hope to see you there. Tomorrow, the plan is for some Cyberpunk on my Twitch stream. I want to play some more of that. We have a lot of side missions to do. I was a little worried because, like, some of the missions, or like the main missions, there's only like 28 to 30, depending on the story choices you make. They're long. I think I was worried there were going to be like 10-minute missions. No, some are over an hour. So it's not a short game, and it's impressive. I like it a lot, but keep in mind, I'm playing the patched version from like a year and a half since when the game first came out, and I'm playing it on current gen hardware. You know, your mileage might vary. I'm afraid to tell people, run out and get it on PS4, run out and get it on Xbox 360. I mean, Xbox One. Oh my God, could you imagine them trying it on Xbox 360? The thing would burst into flames. Okay, everybody. I'm rambling now. And Lord, I'm not the rambling man. So I will bring things to an end. And thank you all very much for watching. And I hope you have a fantastic day, night, whatever time you watch this. Thank you. And this was Hoarder's Comic Flex. See you later. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.